So today on Bmuse, I want to take you on a tour of one of our newest exhibits here at the museum. Now, for those of you who have visited the museum a few times over the years, you'll notice that some of the big exhibits don't change, but the smaller rooms or some of the cases do get a makeover from time to time. This is the very first year that we're putting in a special exhibit that's going to be lasting all year. And given that Canada is turning 150 years old this year, we thought we would look back to another birthday celebration that happened here in Brockville back in 1967. You know, when you and I have a birthday, we don't usually celebrate what happened the year that we turned one. We talk about all of the other things, the milestones, what we've accomplished over those many years that we've been on this earth. And so that's what we're doing for this year too. We'll be looking back at what Brockville did during Centennial. So we're going to come into the exhibit. Join me and I'll show you some of the new things that we have out on display. So here we are right inside the door of how Brockville celebrated the Centennial. And what's amazing about some of those events that happened here in Brockville is the variety of what we actually had. There were projects, there were pageants, there were special get-togethers, and all sorts of things that we see around us today that do go back to some of those things that happened in Centennial year in 1967. Behind me we have one of my favorite parts of this entire exhibit. It's the outfit that was worn by Miss Brockville Centennial. And Linda Eyre, as she's known today, she came out and she actually opened the exhibit for us when we began at the beginning of this year. And like I said, this exhibit's going to be up for the entire year. So I'm going to show you a couple other things that you can find here, but we're not going to point out everything because it's much more fun if you get to see it yourself. When we talk to folks who were here during Centennial year, one of the highlights for most communities, including Brockville, was the chance to get all dressed up as pioneers and look back through our history, and especially back to 1867 when Canada first started. Almost our entire costume collection here at the museum started out as folks donating to us some of their old Centennial dresses. So we wanted to bring some of those out and give a chance for our visitors to come and try on some of the dresses. We also do have a couple on display as well, but you'll get a chance to try some of those on. The fun thing about these dresses, for those of you who are maybe historians looking at some of these costumes, one of the first things to point out that it was a Centennial dress is the colors are just a little bit too bright, but it's still a lot of fun. So you can come on by and try those out. There's also something else for you to do too. One of my favorite stories about one of the projects that happened here in Brockville talks about Centeen Park, which of course is located down by the waterfront. Part of the monies to go and revitalize this park was raised by teenagers. And what they did is they staged a walkathon. They walked all the way down to Browns Bay, and the monies that they raised went to fixing up that park. And so when they were trying to figure out a new name for that old waterworks park, as they called it for a while, there was a ballot that was put in the newspaper. And so we have a copy of that ballot, and if you want, you can come by, you can see some of those options that were available for the park name and put in your own vote if you wish. In the end, though, the winner was Centeen Park. It was done for Centennial year, and the money was raised by the teenagers. So that's where it got its name. Now, of course, 1967 was a time of great celebration for Canada's 100th birthday, but that doesn't mean that all the regular stuff, the building, the demolishing, and the creating of our city as we know it today stopped during that year. And so when you come to the exhibit, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but take a look at the floor, because we have all sorts of different events that happened over the course of the year, sort of leading you through the exhibit on stickers on the floor. And we do have some of these amazing photos of the other things that were happening around town too. Now, with Canada's 150th birthday this year, we're looking back on all of this history, of all of the things that this nation and our city have actually gone through over the many years. And here at the Brockville Museum, we wanted to celebrate this in a special way. So hopefully you'll come and join us and have this How Brockville Celebrated the Centennial exhibit as part of your plans for Canada 150. For information about this and other exhibits at the Brockville Museum, you can visit our website at brockvillemuseum.com. You'll also find there information and links about some of the other events that are happening throughout Brockville for Canada's 150. And if you visit our Facebook page, we have a special series that's running for the 150 days running up to July 1st, and we're looking at a year in Brockville's history for 150 years, so be sure to check that out.